Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's October 1st, 2025. The government's fiscal year is April 1st to March 31st every year. We are now 7 months behind in actually having a budget presented to this House of Commons and how this government is going to choose what it's spending money on this year. Governments are important documents. I was in a synagogue in Calgary some time ago, and the rabbi and I had a discussion about the importance of budgets in religious organizations, but also in governments. And they're important documents because they represent choices, they represent priorities, and they represent respect for other people's money. Now, this budget is thus not showing any of those. There is no priority listed for 7 months now into this fiscal year. Nobody knows what this government's priorities and choices are going to be. But furthermore, it shows a complete disregard for other people's money. That is, the taxpayers of Canada that are not getting a view of where this government is going to spend their money that they trust the government with to actually run the services that Canadians are provided by this government. That is a problem. If the public doesn't have their eyes on exactly what the government's doing and exactly how they're actually going to measure their performance, then we're missing one of the key attributes of what a democratic society that has an accountable and responsible government is here for. Now, one of the roles of this House of Commons, of course, is to approve the spending, not the budget, but the actual spending that goes out. It's called the estimates process. And this past year, this House was prorogued for much of the year. In the last year, we've sat in this House as a Parliament less than 5 months, and that is a diminution of the role that democracy plays in Canada. The House was prorogued for almost 4 months. We had an election, and in the meantime, billions of dollars were issued through what we call government warrants. That is not approved by Parliament, no vetting of what's going on here, just money going out the door through the last fiscal year and into this fiscal year. Now we're into a budget process where effectively we're 7 months behind. This is a result of complete incompetence and disregard for the tools of democracy that are time-tested in Canada about what we're supposed to do and how we're supposed to perform and how we're supposed to report that to Canadians about how we're performing. There's a consequence to this. One of the main problems with running budget deficits is it creates inflation, particularly when the inflation, the budget deficits, are financed by central bank printing money. That causes inflation. There's no question about that. And the thing about inflation, to find out what it is for people, it reduces their buying power on what they can purchase in society. That is a problem. It means that you have less, your rent is more, if you will, in real dollars. Your food is more in real dollars. It's a tax. It means less disposable income for real Canadians. It means they have to play catch up every year. So the government can inflate the dollars that they're collecting and try and debase the dollars that they're actually spending. But it is about choices at the end of the day. This year, what's the deficit going to be? We don't know. It's going to be $50 billion, then $60 billion. In the spring, I thought it'd be $80 billion, and then C.D. Howe came out and said it was going to be $92 billion, and yet the government continues in its spending. The solution is to restate the budget. The solution, according to the Prime Minister, is to restate the way we report this budget. This is not a solution. Mr. Speaker, we've got to get back to balanced budgets.
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Public Safety.
Thank you, and thank you to my colleague across the way for that question. Our government is working on a clear, ambitious plan to build a strong, unified, and resilient economy for our workers, for our companies, and for our families. The Minister of Finance has already announced that we will be tabling the 2025 budget on November 4th. Faced with a series of historic challenges, unjust American tariffs, constant concerns about financial accessibility and housing, the 2025 budget will seize this generational opportunity to transform our economy. It will do so through ambitious investment increased fiscal discipline, and responsible management, in which every dollar is used in the right way to build the strongest economy of the G7. The budget will heavily invest in housing and infrastructures, stimulate significant private investment, and establish new strategic partners with trusted partners. At the same time, our government is putting in place new fiscal discipline in our day-to-day activities, guaranteeing more effective and reliable public services. This discipline will allow us to focus resources where they matter most, sustainable growth that will ensure Canadian prosperity today and for generations to come, from coast to coast to coast, including, I should note this, in La Prairie Atatacan. We are redoubling our efforts to make housing more affordable. Thanks to the reduction of the GST on new homes over $1 million, first-time home buyers will be able to save up to $50,000. And for new homes between $1 million and $1.5 million, a partial GST reduction will apply in order to help more Canadian families purchase their first homes. In that same bill, Mr. Speaker, we remove the consumer carbon tax so we could focus on pricing the pollution of major emitters. The recent launch of Build Canada Homes, to cite another example, will allow us to build more new housing so that we can further reduce housing costs by increasing supply. And it's not just the housing sector that we are overhauling. We are streamlining the federal approval process for major projects. And why are we doing all of this, Mr. Speaker? Because Canadians gave us a clear mandate to take bold measures to stimulate economic growth, create well-paying jobs, and ensure that Canadians fully benefit from the innovation and exceptional talent that characterize our country. From our robust free trade agreements, to our collective wealth, to our unique prosperity. Faced with a choice between one of the world's greatest economists and a career politician who has never worked a single day in the private sector, Canadians spoke loud and clear. Unlike the party across the way, we heard them, Mr. Speaker, and in an ever-changing global context, it is in order to carry out our mandate that we will be bringing down costs, strengthening our stability, and providing more safety and prosperity to all Canadians.
Your center.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I've spoken about the importance of budgets in the democratic process and in the Canadian context here as well. I didn't hear any response to that at all from the government side. And the issue is, of course, is that this is time-tested democratic instruments that we have. We are the institution here, the House of Commons, that authorizes this. But Canadians have to have their eyes on what their government is spending money on and why the deficits are getting so large, because it has already become a large problem. It is going to become a bigger problem. Now let's accept that we have a government now run by a central banker. And central bankers have a penchant for solving the problem by printing money. Printing money is going to cause inflation. We know this. This is time-tested. This is known around the world. And inflation is going to cause heartbreak and heartache in so many sectors of our economy. This is the big issue here. Will the government please get ahead of the deficit issues, because it's going to cause significant financial pain for all Canadians?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Mr. Speaker, I respect the opinion of my colleague from Calgary Centre. We spent the entire summer crisscrossing the country from coast to coast to coast, and now we know what Canadians expect from our budget. The 2025 budget will be the next step in our plan to drive investment and build a strong and unified Canadian economy. An economy that will create better-paying jobs, drive up incomes, and withstand worldwide shocks. The strongest economy in the G7. The 2025 budget will highlight the fact that our actions are guided by new fiscal discipline. We will spend less so that Canadians can invest more. We will reduce public spending and focus our efforts on investment that will boost economic growth. It's coming up on November 4th, 2025, Mr. Speaker.